Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry it's been a little bit since my last video. My computer literally melted. So I had to get a new one. So for this workout, I just thought I would show how I start all of my workouts, and that's with some sort of compound powerlifting movement. Today was squats and bench, just really lightweight for moderate reps. What I like to do is record my first and last working set and compare them. So to see things like the speed at which I did the lift, if my last sets I start breaking down in my form, where that breakdown is, and that really helps me as a lifter to figure out what I need to do in the future. And then after some squats, I went into my bench. I've up to benching. Well, I've actually decreased my bench to twice a week with a bench accessory of incline. I'm going to make a video pretty shortly about how you can increase your bench as a woman. That's the next one on my list. But basically, yeah, I start out with some compound lifts that tend to be powerlifting focused because that is what I want to do forever. Now, onto the workout itself. This, I don't know what it's called. I learned this from the Ed Cohn seminar. We're calling it kind of like a barbell shrug hold. So if you think about those kind of like oblique exercises that you do where you hold a plate, this just adds an element of balance to it because you're using the barbell instead. So I have another view where you can see this, where what you're doing is bringing the barbell up, and then it's just like those side oblique crunches, but you're kind of bringing your shoulder up a bit at the end too. The challenge is really to keep the barbell straight, and I'm not quite there, so I usually do about 4 sets of these, 10 to 12 reps, increasing weight every week. The next exercise, I saw this, Whitney Simmons posted it. It's like a modified preacher curl. The reason I like it is because the preacher curl machine just really hates me and gives my tendonitis a pretty serious flare up in my right elbow. So this I found really does isolate my biceps, and I superset this with a shoulder move. This move is a cable front raise, and I like to do it with the cables because it gives me a little bit more of a range of motion resistance through it. And then also the dumbbells can be kind of taxing. And then I get the opportunity to put my palms facing each other. So I'll show this from another angle to really explain what my elbows are doing. So you'll notice that my elbows or my arms aren't straight. I have some laxity in my elbow, and that's going to really help to take this movement away from your traps and put it into your anterior or front delts. The next superset that I'm going to go into is another shoulder to bicep. This one is the lateral raises. And again, what I'm doing, if you can notice, is I'm thinking pinky up, because this is going to focus on your lateral delts. That's really the bolder shoulders that people are talking about. Robin Glant has a great video where she breaks down where the shoulders are, like what muscles make up the shoulder, because it's not just the shoulder muscle. And I superset this with some hammer curls, keeping my elbows close to me and trying not to use too much momentum, but at the end of a workout when you're trying to get fatigued, you're going to have some. So here you can see that my pinkies are kind of up, and I still have that laxity in my elbow like I did when I was doing the front raises. Again, that's keeping the traps out of the equation, because as someone who does powerlift, I have some pretty strong traps that like to take over. And then supersetting it with those bicep hammer curls. You can see from the front, despite this horrible gym lighting, that my elbows stay pretty close to my body. And I do use a little bit of momentum towards the end, but not a horrible amount. This next move is not a superset, it's a row, and it's a little bit different range of motion row. So I saw some other people do this, and I really like it because if you think about your lat, or your latissimus dorsi, which is the muscle that you're training when you're doing these rows, it doesn't exist in this tiny little area. It's a pretty huge muscle, and it actually attaches pretty low on your back. So what this is moving it through a range of motion. So you start up to the front and then bring your elbow back like you're trying to bring it up and over your waist, as opposed to just rowing it upward. And you're going to feel this a little bit in your abs, which is kind of nice, but you're also going to get it through your entire lat, and that's really important for that growth. And for my prep this year, I've been adding in one glute exercise at the end of every lift. I have no illusion that I'm going to magically gain any sort of muscles in my glutes, and I already have pretty decent glutes, so it's more of a keeping them stimulated. So I'll do things like this where it's not quite doing the full hip thrust with 135-pound barbell. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass to set up and take apart. These little machines can be really helpful. You just people are going to stare, but whatever. So I do things like pulses and different things through the move. But thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them below.